Hey, Christy Mattoon here. I want to talk to you today about your autoimmune mentality. This is autoimmune disease. It's also about subconscious change and how the two can interact and work together to help you move forward into a life without symptoms and without the problems that you're facing currently. So we talk a lot about the food that you're eating and how it has no nutritive value and it's full of chemicals and poisons and pesticides and what that does inside your system. Right? So some people have this idea that because that's what they grew up on, a lot of it comes from all the commercials you watched. We've talked about that before, and how that implants thoughts in your subconscious mind. And what you get stuck with is this mentality that leads you to think that you're entitled to eat those kind of foods, right? And then we kind of ignore the poisons, we ignore the food colorings, we ignore all of those things because it makes us feel good when we eat it. But the truth is that good feeling that you're getting only lasts for a matter of minutes, and then it's gone, and then you're left in your symptoms again. So the project today is a little bit of I want you to write this out and really get in touch with yourself here. I want you to put it up on the wall so you can see it, and it'll give you a little bit of a diagram to keep working through as we go through this program and as you go through your symptoms and trying to change it. So this is for anybody who's out there that's suffering in symptoms. This will be a good exercise. So what you're going to start with is a list of symptoms. And let me move my camera around here so you can see what I've got drawn out. So list of symptoms is where we start. And so this is just kind of typical symptoms, and then we're going to write out the typical byproducts of it. So the first symptom I have up here is exhaustion, depression, joint pain, muscle pain, anxiety, hair loss, brain fog, digestive issues, the bloating, the pain right in your gut, the constipation, being out of touch with your spirit, weary, fearful, a sense of failure, right? All of these are symptoms. You can add to this list based on whatever is going on in your own life. And I suggest you do, whatever your symptoms are, write them down and get them out on the board so you can plainly see them. And then as they change, it'll actually give you something that you can go back through and look at this differently as everything keeps changing. So byproducts are the things that these symptoms are causing. So for exhaustion, I have down not moving, not working out, right, because you're too tired to move or go do anything. A byproduct of depression could be tired all the time. Right, which is like exhaustion. So we're going to go through and look at all these similarities. Not feeling is a byproduct of some of this. Not feeling what? Not feeling joy, not feeling loved, not feeling peace. Right? Add to the list as it applies to you. The byproduct of some of these things could be sleeping all the time. So anywhere this applies to your life, these are the things that you're writing down. Uncomfortable. Right, so uncomfortable. So the one person that I had talked to, her definition of uncomfortable was that she had to run to the bathroom all the time. Right, so as you're writing stuff down, you can even define underneath what that means for you. Can't get into your clothes, could be a byproduct. What else? What are you thinking of while you're sitting here listening to this? Even start jotting stuff down. Having fights in your own head, right? Where you've got that one voice telling you one thing and the other voice telling you something else. Or maybe it's somebody you're actually fighting with at work or at home or, wherever it is. Because that'll stall your whole day out, right? That can stall weeks out for some people, right? How about job issues? Can't get into work, you don't feel like working, right? You're mentally destroyed there. How about taking medications? It's a byproduct. Because the more and more you hear about some of these medications, they cause exactly the same symptoms that we're trying to alleviate. right? So then you get on this medication and sometimes even different symptoms, and all of a sudden you find yourself having more problems than you did when you started. So it can be a byproduct of some of this stuff. Anxiety. Again, depression can be a byproduct, even though it's a symptom itself. Withdrawn. So whatever your words are for this stuff, whatever you're coming up with, then what I want you to do is see where all of these things cross over into each other's paths. So exhaustion, right, was not moving, not working out. What else does exhaustion do where these things cross over? If you're exhausted, it can cause job issues. If you're exhausted, you might have anxiety. You might get depressed, right? You might have this not feeling, right? The love, joy, and peace kind of idea. If you're depressed, you're definitely not feeling those things. If you're depressed, you might want to sleep all the time. You're probably uncomfortable. It might not be the bathroom issue, but uncomfortable in a different way if you're depressed, right? The joint pain and muscle issues are going to keep you from working out. They're going to make you not want to move. They're going to make you anxiety-ridden and depressed. Right? Anxiety, the fights in your own head, the lack of joy, the lack of love, the lack of, right, all those things. Hair loss, what does that do to a person? I know it made me super depressed. It gave me a lot of fear, right? Had anxiety about my hair loss, that was a big one. It actually gave me job issues because I worked at a gym and then my coworkers gave me crap because my hair was all over the place. Didn't happen much, but it happened a few times, and that caused anxiety. Like that was a problem for me. Brain fog. Do we have any byproducts up here of brain fog? So maybe that uncomfortable feeling. Brain fog can cause job issues. Brain fog can have that not feeling, right? You're not getting in touch with your feelings because of your brain fog. Right? It might make you tired all the time. Your brain's not functioning properly, and then you've got the anxiety and depression here too. Digestive issues. Right? So now you are talking the bathroom problems, right? The uncomfortable there. Do we have you can't get into your own clothes, right? If you're having a lot of gut bloating and you're not being able to get into your clothes. If you're having digestive issues, sometimes you don't want to move. How about out of touch with your spirit? When you're out of touch with your spirit, and you might not even realize this is going on, when you've just like totally so focused into the symptoms of your life, right? And the list is probably way longer than this, and you lose touch with your spirit, all of these things go offline, right? Everything just kind of becomes such an issue. When you get back in touch with your spirit, a lot of this stuff will start going away, and you can come at this from many different angles, whether you come at it from food first, from movement first, from meditation first, and developing a practice. If you do all of these things kind of at one time and really get yourself up and moving, become super hyper aware of all of this stuff, it changes very, very rapidly. So out of touch with your spirit can be any and all of these, right? Causing you to be weary, fearful, give you a sense of failure in pretty much every area of your life. So once you've gotten here, let's move right on. What I want you to do is I want you to think the opposite. So this is kind of the idea of the law of attraction, right? Where you're thinking about what you want and pulling that towards you instead of thinking about what you don't want, right? So if you're thinking the good thoughts, thinking the awesome things, the whole thought process with that is that thinking in the positive is going to pull things positive toward you. So with this kind of an idea, if we're not just sitting in our symptoms and resonating in our symptoms, if we start thinking the opposite, we're going to make a list of what that means, it's going to give you somewhere else to direct your mind and your thoughts and help you dig yourself out of the trench that you're in. Which will also, by the way, cause you to eat differently. Because if you're not stuck here and you're thinking this kind of stuff, it brings you to an awareness that if you put good foods in your body that bring benefit instead of harm, all of this stuff changes. And that's really where we want to go with this, because if you're stuck in the lock of the food, right? I heard somebody call it the MAD diet, M-A-D. And it stood for the Modern American Diet. right? It's madness that we're eating chemicals and poisons on a daily basis and letting the FDA make us think that it's okay, that we're going to survive eating that kind of stuff, right? Clearly it hasn't worked out for most of us. Clearly the problem's getting worse. The incidence of autoimmune issues and disease are on the rise like crazy. So we really want to take control and authority in that area and start to work out of this. So let me move this over here just a little bit. And we're going to work on think the opposite. So think, what do you want instead? What do you want instead of the symptoms? What do you want instead of this stuff? This becomes your new focus, and it's going to be your momentum and your movement forward, right? Staying in this thought process. So instead of exhaustion, what would you want? How about energy? And this can mean many different things. Energy physically, energy spiritually, energy emotionally. How about strength? Right? Energy or strength in your physical body, right? Because you haven't been working out, you've lost your strength. So let's get your strength back. This could be strength emotionally, right? If we're stuck in depression and anxiety and we're having all these byproducts, your strength emotionally is probably drained. So we need to get that back. We need to get your spiritual strength back, right? So thinking the opposite, if you're not feeling and it's leading to all of this stuff, we want you to feel. You want you to feel joy, love, peace, happiness. Ooh, probably didn't spell that one right. Happiness, right? Happiness, gratitude, all of the things that you hear the big gurus talking about that you would have a practice for, right? Practice being in gratitude, practice being in love, practice being in peace. This is the meditation. This is all of the little things, the EFT, right? EMDR if you're sitting in a professional's office. All energy psychology based protocols or principles that you can put in play to get to where you want to be instead of being where you are. The focus is, or the thing is, you have to do it to do it. There's a little bit of work behind it. So what we would do, actually let's write a few more of these. So how about a clear head? Right, so no brain fog. We want a clear head. Be able to just function. Function. Having issues with my spelling. Talk about brain fog. Be able to function. There you go. Okay? What we're going to do is take all of these things and make it into a statement. So this would be a positive mantra idea. So turn it into a statement, and then how I handle this is I balance it. So in my subconscious mind, I'm trying to plant a seed. So we unplug all the bad stuff, and then we plant a seed with what you want instead. Planting that seed equates to growing new neuroplasticity in your brain, right? Because all of these things have negative value to them, and you've probably got some negative neuroplasticity in there. There's some negative wiring going on inside your brain. If we can take that out and put this positive stuff in and seed it into your mind ahead of time, it makes it easier to grow and function in this arena and get you out of this arena. So balancing a statement, the protocol I use is called Psych-K. And literally what it does is seed your mind with what you want and unplug what you don't want. And then it gives you a space to move forward. It gives you a space to become aware and do things differently. And what I tell people is just notice. Just watch how you feel differently. Watch what else you're doing in your life. You know, become aware when things are different or things aren't happening the way that they used to with all the symptoms. And then just take notes. And then we change the board a little bit, right? Because things have shifted. And then we go at it again. So thinking opposite, create a statement. And you can do this without a balance, right? A lot of the modalities and the protocols that are out there do this without the, the balance that I'm talking about. This is something that we would work through. Create a statement. And if you're doing just meditation or if you're doing EFT, you're tapping to the statement. If you're doing meditation, you're just sitting there meditating on the statement. Eventually over time what that's going to do is break down that neural plasticity that's in there and seed your mind with the new stuff. My goal is always, what's a quicker way to do it? Because I'm not that young anymore. I don't have time to keep playing these games with all of these symptoms. So I quit eating the bad food. I'm trying to heal my system. I want the good stuff instead, so I keep seeding my brain with the positive thoughts and actions and desires that I want. Right? So with a balance, I'm inputting those into the system. If this is something that you're interested in, I call my program Mind Rewire. If you're just interested in the mind seeding part of it, or if you're interested in the autoimmune part, it's called Autoimmune Health and Life. You can find us on Facebook. My website is buildingchangenow.com. You can look us up there. buildingchangenow.com. All right. So I hope this helps. I hope it gives you something different to work on and to look at, and a different way to kind of view some of the things that you're doing, and especially if you're still eating foods that have poison to them. If you're still inputting things in your system that are going to make you sick, all you can expect is illness. You can't expect health no matter what else you're doing if you're eating food that is poisoning your physical body. Because if you're poisoning your physical body, you're blocking yourself from your spirit. And that's the last thing we want to be doing. So until I talk to you again, peace, be well. I hope this helps.